Welcome back to the game of the day. It's Reaper again for me. So I woke up this morning with my coffee. I played a match that I really quite enjoyed. I do have some other Reaper matches I already had in mind for sharing, but this one's pretty awesome. In terms of damage output and not making any major mistakes, this is a really good demonstration of Reaper. I think the last you saw, I'm pretty sure you've seen it. I've done Game of the Days on Reaper, right? The last you saw of it, I think I was still practicing with all the recent buffs. I've now refined the build ever so slightly, and I've swapped the flat damage well for the corruption well, which was obviously and always going to be the better choice. But aside from that, this is the same build as before. It's extremely tanky. It's very sturdy. This is not necessarily a meta spec, and most people don't know about it. I'll try to put a link to this on things somewhere, but it's very sturdy. It gets ripped to pieces by Scourge. Even if you run Consume Conditions, I mean, I kind of want to do a dedicated talk on Consume Conditions versus Will of Blood here, but even if you run it, it is utterly destroyed by Scourge. Not necessarily other varieties of Condi you can do a lot against, but Scourge especially really is nasty, especially over a point, obviously. Your one saving grace is you can kite away from Scourges very easily since they're quite stationary in their output. So, yeah, let's just see how this goes. It's a pretty good game. We're on Temple, of course. And we're going to be moving out of the spawn a little bit late here. I was reading about Guild Wars 1 because of the Guild Wars 1 update. We're currently slow-mo a little bit as well, so I'll fix that. So, yes, the opening mid begins. You'll notice my NG picks up close, and you'll also notice that my Mesmer goes far. Now, I didn't actually know this at the time because I got into the game late. I didn't watch their rotations. I was mostly just keen on getting straight to mid. But by having our Mesmer push far, what this means is we're going to be outnumbered mid, and it's going to be a really difficult mid fight. So I round the corner. It's kind of what I'm hoping to see here is all the enemies have clustered up on the node like we're silver players, and then I can absolutely devastate on the Reaper, sorry. But they haven't done this. You'll instead notice that they've invested one on there, but these other two are looking greedy, mostly because they've already been engaged on my Revenant. The Revenant's been getting shot, and then the Druid immediately point blank shots me and puts binding roots on me. So, yeah, we're going to be dealing with this all game. I'm going to be getting followed by a ranger at max range, point blank shotting me and putting the binding roots on, which is extra annoying when you're on a melee gap close build. You might argue it's a good play from him at the same time, because he counters me by doing that to an extent. So, yeah, we're going to sit here. We're going to break them with our attacks, and the Scrapper runs up to us, so that's okay. So here I'm actually alright, because I know that the enemy team has a Scourge, so I'm extremely happy to pull an enemy away into this scenario, because it means I can kill him and fight him without taking any Scourge pressure. Which the Scourge is going to incidentally do while taking a different target, right? Because everything's so heavily AoE and spammy. So this is great. It's also a Scrapper, and I'm not even remotely intimidated by Scrappers. There was a recent patch, and they had some slight changes, but I'm still not intimidated. So I like this. Then you'll notice the Druids still thinks that I'm the better target. Now, the reason I probably got so much aggro is these players are looking at the Necromancer icon, and they don't actually know or have any appreciation for the fact that I'm apparently running Wells and I'm a Reaper and blah, blah, blah. They just see Necro must target, and they've learned that. And so this is good for me. This is essentially baiting them into a really unfavorable place. These guys don't have enough damage output to be able to kill me quickly, and I re-sustain very heavily on Reaper. I know you guys want to watch the gameplay. So here, I dropped my Wells to zone them off. They tried to hide. I dropped the Spectral Grasp. And I'll take a 2v1 on the side of mid. I'll happily take a 2v1 away from the Scourge, drawing these guys out. And by doing this, I've now created even numbers in mid. Remember at the time I didn't know that my Mesmer had pushed far. So I'm actually thinking, wow, look, they're fighting me up here. We're going to win mid because I've taken the aggro and I'm fine up here. So this is awesome. We're going to win mid is what's going through my mind here. We take the fight. I make sure to drop as much autos in Shroud as I can. We take the axe kill on the Ranger, on the Druid. So we've just scored a kill while 2v1 and forced the Scrapper to flee. And now I notice something. Hold on. What's this? What's this here? There's a Shade. And you'll notice I'm getting cleaved by the Shade because ArenaNet's lovely update, which means the Scourge doesn't care about that kind of stuff anymore. So, yeah, it now dawns on me. I look at the mini-map. We lost mid. And so I was like, oh man, how did we lose mid after I've done this? But then I realized that our Mesmer's pushed far. The Mesmer's still engaged in their 1v1, so that could swing either way. Really, we haven't had a great opening. But at least we get the kill on the Druid, and I get my revenge for the annoying early point-blank shot. The Scourge is on me now, and now I am concerned. So what you guys are going to see is some gameplay here where I basically play very kite-heavy, always moving away from the Scourge as best possible. Here I dodge back interestingly through. That's because I've got a Well of Power down, and I'm going for conversion. So you notice I got a lot of stuff on me. I have Aegis on me. I've got nice things. It's because I dodged, instead of like fleeing immediately down there or even up the stairs, I came back round just to get every tick of value out of my well. I take the Spectral Grass. I'm pretty confident right now, even against the Scourge, because I have full Shroud. I get Fear Chained, and then I lose my confidence, so I bail away. Using that skill too for mobility and kiting purposes is really valuable. So here I notice that my guy is down, and we can push back into mid, because I've got a respawn. I also noticed that my Mesmer has won, so good job to the Mesmer. It took a while, but they did it. So my game plan here is I've pinged the body, and what I want to do is run over and drop a double Well of Blood if I can, and get into Shroud and do a stability res. Because this build is great for damage output, but also it's great for res potential. So I go for it, and we get our stab ripped. We get dazed and CC'd. I think that's literally like maybe 4 or 5 times in a row. It's all from one thing, the chrono. So, yeah, unfortunately the stomp goes through. I think they had a function gyro going that on as well, so it's maybe not the worst thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to get hammered, so I go take to the kite spot just very briefly there to make sure that, you know, they're not focusing on me. And now we go for the Scourge. We're going to pressure this Scourge off the nodes. And we swing in with some damage. We have to be hyper careful here. Very aware. We've got a lot of Condi cleanse and support we can do through that well, but we have to use it perfectly. We take the damage off the side of the node, get an excellent kill here. Drop the Warhorn 4 to interrupt reses, the Greatsword 4 to convert stability reses, and immediately move over to the Mesmer that's nearby while my allies deal with the body. Attack the Mesmer like mad, continuing to focus on the auto attacks where possible. Autos chain might on us, which is good for obviously doing more damage, but also sustains us. Go for the Gravedigger, but it doesn't work, so swap to the Axe. Remember, I have exposure on my Axe, which means I get a big stack of vulnerability, which means the Axe does extra damage. Here we take the Suffering Well, which flips his stability res, turning it into fear. I miss my my dunk CC, but it's not too bad. I can use Spectral Grasp for an extra CC soon as well. I'm happy to sit in this because I'm in a Will of Blood at the same time. Chaining so many CCs of my own here, and look, we're back up to full Shroud. We can continue attacking, and we basically 1v2 up on the side here, managing to take that Scourge down in melee. So as you can see there, you don't need consume conditions to deal with a Scourge if they're ever so slightly distracted, right? You can chain things in the right way to deal with them. Looks like my team's got some good progress on a Scrapper nearby there as well, and down he goes. So here I know that the Scrapper is dead on respawn. So as tempting as it is to look back at mids, this is an issue because they're just going to respawn and res it. So I'm staying here. Here I'm precasting this well because I'm expecting the Mesmer to come in, to shatter, to give himself stability, and immediately fear himself on the well as he goes for the res. So that's why I'm holding this precasted well. I'm just waiting for him to go into it. There I drop it just... I realize he's not going for the res and the stomp's gone through. And now I cast it just because to clear a ton of clones and things, and in case he aggresses. I go for the Greatsword 5 to try and pull him into the well. He takes a random dodge as far as I can see. So that's fine. I'm now a little bit concerned with this fight because, again, I'm doing it on spawn and it's the Scourge spawning. So I'm really happy that he blinks over here. This Mesmer isn't particularly good at the game. If they were, they would have kept fighting me there. I mean, actually, to tell you the truth, there's are they double Scourge? I don't even know. If they're double Scourge, this is even crazier of a game for me to be able to do as well as I did here. Maybe the Scourge just respawned already and moved past and I missed it like an idiot. But okay, so you know, the Mesmer goes, hides with the Scourge anyway. It's just at mid. Probably a better play. Never mind. Never mind my criticism there. So now, yeah, we go for this fight. I just want to make sure that if I'm going for this, I don't die to the Scourge. I know my friend is down over there, but the Scourge is retargeted, and this is beautiful. The Scourge has gone to hit me instead, and I can double blood my ally. So I noticed that my heal is on already. He's just put his pet there. I drop a well to cover myself. I press F to drop my traded well, and I immediately leave. You notice I'm not CC'd or anything, but I've pressed F and I'm leaving because I know the pet plus my well is enough already. So with that, I'm going to bail out because I do not want to take extra cleave here. I dodge around the corner. The ranger is up. I drop my greatsword 4 to drop blinds on anyone aggressing me. We take the shroud 2. And now with this level of life force, his health bar, I'm fairly confident I can win this 1v1 now against this guy. We rip his stab with his with the warhorn, and then I was going for a second CC with my elites, but he managed to avoid it. So now he's turned the tides a little bit. I get the blind spam down again. I've kited towards my spawn where I've got allies, and my holo helps to clean him out there. We would have been... I know I looked like I went low on health there. We would have been perfectly fine anyway. I, like a dumbass, let him fear me there. And we finish him off on the roads, moving back through towards mid to give these guys support. You know, so far, we've just been a powerhouse. We've just been killing things constantly. We haven't died. We've not even gone downstate. I don't think I ever will go downstate this game. And yet, it's a close match, which is why this was so fun and why we were able to get so much aggression out. So we come in, by pushing to the node here, we offer a bit of pills for our holo, who you notice is in a bit of a fight for his life off on the side. I'm watching to support that as soon as I maybe need to. I'm standing on this node, though, to stop them getting full cap. And because, like, this is the dream for the Reaper, guys. Like, there is a lot of cleave we're pushing out here. And we just pull them back in, and we just keep throwing them into the meat grinder. Look how low they are. They have to bail out now. This guy's down. The scrapper up on the roads there is extremely low. We can take our axe burst to finish him off. The ranger is now pressuring us again because the holos managed to get away. And we can just sort of charge up. So far, this game, all I've done is hang around mid, if you've noticed. This has been entirely mid-fight. I've done nothing on the side nodes. I've pushed to far a little bit towards their spawn and come back. I've pushed towards my spawn a little bit and I've come back, but it's been mid. Now we finally decisively won mid. I've even ignored the first buff, the 11th day. I don't even know how that went. I didn't even call that out on Game of the Day here. Now, I changed my tack, so you've been seeing a bit of Reaper mid-action here. Now, you're going to see a bit of side-noding, which is a scary and dangerous thing to do on this build, because you cannot peel out. If they get the upper hand while you're side-noding, if they get a good plus on you, it's, generally speaking, terrible. So it's a scary thing. What's currently going through my mind is I want a 2v2. You guys know that this is a really strong 2v2ing build. So my ally is down, and obviously we're going to take a big res on there, and we're going to win the 2v2. We're going to turn a dead ally into a 1-2v2, which is such a strong play. I showed you that happen on Colosseum before. So I dropped the Well of Blood, and naturally he blinks out of it. It's a Mesmer blink, but why he used his 2 randomly? Listen, please, guys, if you're a Mesmer or a Thief specifically, Ellie as well, never use the 2 unless it's actually getting you some value. What's he getting from this? No one's stealth stomping him or anything. So it moves him out. I might have missed the well anyway, actually, to tell you the truth. That might have been outrageous. But shh. Anyway, this was annoying-ish. He moves. It takes him out of the desert shroud. So, hey. The pure RNG just saved him a little bit there. I press F to establish the res. Then, once I'm definitely in combat, I think I was anyway, I go Shroud, Ripping Boons. That's going to get any stab off, okay? We give ourselves stab. We can now fear because they don't have stab. If they'd had that on them, they would have been feared initially. And then we can double fear. And now with the Shroud tankiness, with the stab, with the Well of Blood, we re-engage the res. Just to be very clear here, watch. I don't just press F. I don't start with Shroud and then press F because we're not in combat yet. We press F. We wait till we get in combat, then we go Shrouds for a potential corrupt. Then we do it. This is the better order for things. Anyway, so we get the res, and now this is the 2v2 that I want. I won't pause for this. I drop the well on the node straight away. I'm not sitting on it. There's the Well of Power. That's for my ally. You'll notice he's been hit extremely hard, but he's standing in the Well of Power now, so he gets reasonable conversion. He goes down, unfortunately, very quickly. Maybe I could have done more by pushing in there, or maybe I would have been cleaved out. So with my ally going down so quickly here, I decide to peel out around the side. Now, there's two things going on here. Number one, by doing this, I hope to pull them off of the node. This is going to be the Scrapper, and I think that the Scourge rotates off, so this is... we might have been -1, and this is going to be... I'm in a 2v1, right? Against the Ranger and Scrapper, which I'm happy because you guys might remember I did way back at the start. There's something else happening here, though, too, that's going through my mind, and it's quite beautiful, really. It's 8:30. And not only is it 8:30, but you'll notice our Ranger is down at Trank. So I've noticed this, and what this means is because there's well, yeah, I'm -1. You can see the Necro on the minimap here. Because they're all over here, they're all accounted for on the map, right? If we get this, it means that I can sneaky dip back onto the node. So I'm not fleeing here. What I'm hoping to do is one of them rotates off, and then I can get back on the node once it caps. So that's the game plan. As you see, instead of fully fleeing around, I turn around, I hide in my dark fields. The Ranger comes in, the Scrapper comes in. I start unloading the damage. Like I said, this is a fight I'm happy with. Here in the background, you notice the node flips. And because of that, they're forced to go back. So with them forced to go back, I just make sure that they're actually going on it because the Druid stealthed. And I move straight in. Now that I'm here as well, my Mesmer's still downstate nearby. He's dropping rogues and things. He might be self-resing. He's very low. I mean, I could go for a res here. Maybe. But I think holding the node is also a strong play. And indeed, you'll see that it continues to be a strong play. I still own this. The range is extremely low. The Scrapper bails off. Presumably, the Scrapper thinks, well, I've killed this guy, so my friend can kill the Reaper now. But he can't. And so, yeah, we get the Ranger down. So here I play exceptionally greedy. What's going through my mind is, obviously we want to stomp the Ranger. It's a Ranger, its pet's going to res it. So we have to be careful of that. However, what I don't want to do is start a stomp and waste potential damage time. And in the middle of that, the Scrapper returns and debunks me. Because if you remember, that node is only clinging on by a tiny little bit, right? And we're kind of reliant on the cap. I think we got 6 cap there, by the way, which accelerated us massively. So I play really greedy. Instead, what I decide to do here is just sort of damage the Ranger. I'm going to go for CC on the pet, like Spectral Grasp and the Warhorn Force, so that he can't pet res. But I'm going to just try and pressure him while watching the Scrapper the entire time. And if the Scrapper comes back and forces me onto the node, I'm hoping I can, like, pull the pet off and kill the Ranger from rage. So it's really greedy what I'm doing here. So let's see. Here I'm watching for the Scrapper. You see, I immediately snap the camera, and we see that the Scrapper is indeed coming back. Suspicion's confirmed. So we come back towards the node, and now it's the Scrapper's decision what to do. But by me coming to the node, the best play for the Scrapper now is to go for res. He does obviously get Function Gyro. Here I use the Spectral Grasp, and the idea here is to cling to the pet and pull the pet off. But a Sneak Gyro comes up, stealthing them, so I don't actually know at this point. I still don't on Game of the Day. I don't know whether the Spectral Grasp has tracked and landed, because the stealth might have come first, thus nullifying it. So we're not entirely sure. The Sneak Gyro itself doesn't move, and this AoE tells me that the Scrapper didn't move. So who knows? But then the Scrapper might have just been obstructed by the Sneak Gyro, so it's all kind of crazy. Sneak Gyro also gets 1 stab, doesn't it? So, anyway. Or is it only Function Gyros that get it? We move over, because obviously there's no point being on the node. And the range is instantly up. I mean, freaking instantly up. So obviously it didn't work. Now, again, I'm outnumbered, so it's kind of a bad idea to just sit there and let them unload all their pressure on me. I pull up to the side. And this means that hopefully the Scrapper is following me. Here I'm spamming auto attacks for might and resustain, but also because the Sneak Gyro is walking towards me, which tells me the Scrapper is walking towards me, which tells me I'm probably landed some cleave hits. And maybe I was, I don't know. The autos was still the best play. We kill the Sneak Gyro. They're about to get full cap, but because I've been outnumbered like this, my team's won the rest of the map, which is excellent. I probably would have been high. Can I just say, this is okay side noting for a Reaper, but I probably would have been much higher value just staying at mid and crunching through at mid the entire time, really. Here's a fairly minor play, but most people don't think of. You tend to just tune pets out, but there's a pet there, so let's build Life Force off of it. Pretty good. So now it's the Ranger again. This Ranger's not had an easy time in this game at all. And now I can just go neutralize underneath him. Here I'm upset. I didn't want a plus from my Mesmer. I didn't see it coming on the minimap. That really annoyed me. So he pluses me. You'll notice what this Mesmer's done is he's just pushed fire all game. And he's not necessarily had too much success there. But it's an okay swap anyway, even if his pushing fire is a little bit mindless. it forces me to go back to mid, where, as I just explained to you here on Game of the Day, I'm probably a bit higher value. So we go for mid. That means playing around the Scourge. The advantage of me side-noding there was that I didn't have to play around this, my hard counter on this map. I tried to hide behind the pillar, but the patch means that they'll hit me anyway. They all push in on me. You get a beautiful example of what Reaper can do there. They come in, they get punished for coming on me really hard. I resustain heavily, I put out massive cleave, and I take my 2 to just hide away for a second. I know that I'm probably still being followed to a certain extent. I'm coming up here. I see I have a low ally with me as well. I offer pills for my low ally. This is why I'm on the Ranger, even though there's lower people nearby, because my Ranger's super low. He's now started to resustain. I dropped this well on myself, the Will of Power, just to get the immobile, frankly, I think was what I did there. The Scrapper's on me. We crunch through him. Don't want to push too aggressive here, so we go for the Axe kill. Spectral Grasp pulls the pet and the Ranger away. You notice how we got an interrupt on both? I don't know whether Search and Rescue had already triggered or what there. Probably not. The Stealth came on the body right as we landed. I go for the Elite as well because, again, I'm trying to get the Ranger and the pet off. But the downstate explosion from the NG actually knocks me flying. So that's like the most beautiful downstate from the NG ever. Not only does it knock me a million miles away, but it also puts me back in range of the Scourge, who immediately starts attacking me again. Like, this is so frustrating. I take the Elite just in the hope it might hit the Scourge and at least interrupt the Bristleback. Move back towards the Cap because I want to make sure that my ally gets that, and obviously safety in numbers. Drop the Well of Power as I kite away from the... Oh, so this was a really nice moment. I've been getting chased by a Scourge. We haven't even seen it on screen, but we know we've been getting chased by a Scourge because his animations and things have hit us. So if I rewind ever so slightly here, guys, right, like, we've got this bleed on us and whatnot. But as I push past the Cap, there's safety in numbers, right? We know that he's taken the Cap, and I have 1 ally, 2 allies. But as this guy runs past me, I know that he's going to chunk straight into the Scourge. So right about now, I do my camera about face, and I know instantly, all right, I'm safe. I'm still low, and I've had a Scourge hitting me super hard, but because of my ally, I know that I've just been given pills. Identifying that you've been given pills the moment it happens is really strong, because what that allows me to do is not waste a single second. I turn around and go aggressive straight away on the Scourge. And that's pretty good pressure. That's pretty important pressure there, because it gives us the kill. So that was us fleeing, turn around and score the kill very quickly. If I hadn't been on the ball, noticing my ally had pushed through, I wouldn't have turned around like this, because this is risky. I know I have a lot of Shroud, right? But I'm still extremely low. It's risky to do that, you know? So we score the kill, but I realized that it's still probably not a good idea to push for that, because there's so many enemies. So I pull away. This is really one of those things, like, a lot of you guys, when you're starting out with PvP, you're not gonna make plays like this. You're not gonna turn around for the quick kill and then realize, oh no, there's not an opportunity anyway. Because, like, you're still going to be looking at your skill bar, and you won't quite know the capability of your build. But once that clicks, you will start to know, okay, I need to rotate away from those kinds of numbers, or I need to rotate into them, right? So anyway, I just pull away from that. I know that close is kind of our win condition, so I could have gone and supported the Reaver there. Revenant. I could have gone and supported that. Instead, I'm going to come to mid. Not sure why. I don't think there's really too much in it. It's going to split their focus across the both of us anyway. We push through. I think this game's a good example as well of Scrapper's kind of in the same place as this Reaper build, in that they're both very bruisery. By that I mean high sustain, CC oriented pressure. But this is just a much better bruiser. And I think we're stronger in that slot here, so we're able to win a bit better. You know, everything that the Scrapper does in terms of res through the function gyro and stuff, we also do through the Well of Blood, and arguably better. Another point-blank shot into a mob from the Ranger, all game. But again, you can just see, once I get on node and there's no Scourge to put me down in my place, we're kind of like unstoppable. We're a little bit of a monster. Here we land the dunk, and I know that the Druid is in stealth, but I continue with my attacks, and you see we get an Icy Explosion procced out of nowhere. That's one of our traits. That means that when you hit a chilled foe, you trigger an Icy Explosion. By that, I know that the Ranger is still here, and not downstate, as we can see on the minimap, he's not down, but we hit something. So I start cleaving over this area. The Druid turns out he's over there, so we don't go for him. Look back towards the node, drop some good well pressure. Again, one thing that makes this Reaper quite fun at the moment with all of the clones and things around. Here was a nice plan. Basically, I drop the Well of Blood heal. I go for the Spectral Grasp. If Spectral Grasp gets the CC on the stomps, I can move in and I can go double Well of Blood heal. But if it doesn't, I can just walk into it and gain the support of it regardless. It turns out the Spectral Grasp doesn't go through. So that means that we obviously don't get the save. But we can proc the trait a little bit later. Here we score another kill. That was actually the Mesmer there. Here we drop Chill to the Bone for some CC. Then we go on to the body. Greatsword 4. This is Boon Corruption and Conversion. So anyone going for a stab res won't be able to get one. And then what we want to do is Greatsword 5, which is a pull. But the Scrapper has countered us with the Reflect Bubble. The Reflect Bubble will mean that our Greatsword pull can't do anything. So instead, we take the Greatsword 3. Probably a Gravedigger would have been better. Look at all the sustain we get from Blood plus Greatsword 3. That's hilarious. We take that, and then we're hoping to get into Shroud for interrupts and stuff. And we're just going to cleave over the bodies as long as possible. Interestingly, I'm now remembering on Game of the Day, on this post-commentary, that big Reflect Bubble is now just a Deflect Bubble, but it offers Stab, right? Isn't it Stab to the Scrapper and everyone around them? Which means our Greatsword 4 is pretty good, too. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, he's given himself Stab, which is just a moment away from turning into Fear. So that's good. We're just going to cleave over the bodies as long as possible. We Gravedig, we score a kill here, we score a kill here. We Gravedig again. We go into Shroud, flipping his Stab. We score another kill here. I mean, those are 5k crits every time we finish one of the auto chains in there as well. And there you go. Bit of Paladin Reaper. Top damage, revive, kills. Those are the 3 that you'd aim for on this build. If you've accomplished those 3, you've probably done something all right. And to look at our stats here, as we climb back towards the Plat 3 border, 659,000 damage. This was a long game, to be fair, but that's a lot of pressure. 11 kills, 0 deaths or down states, 2 revives. And, yeah, I really, really enjoy Reaper. I think it's really fun. And also, come at me, guys, but my fashion wars on this character is clearly the best fashion wars I've had on any character. So there you go. Maybe some more Reaper games coming up very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back with more Game of the Day as soon as I can.